Hey, Brian from Garage Mahal. Today I have a HUPEJOS 360 dash camera with radar detection. So let's pull this out. And there is a lot to this. So just to kind of give you a little bit of heads up, you do need to be a little bit familiar with the electrical system on your vehicle, primarily because you are hooking this up and you're going to have this connection is going to run into your car, and then this plugs into the dash cam. And then this is basically the two fuses that are going to be plugged into your vehicle. You have your ground, which is your black wire, and then you have the ACC, which is connected to like a fuse that works off your ignition. Okay, sorry, got tongue tied there. And then this is going to be your battery plus, so this will always be on. So on your control panel, where you have all of your fuses and stuff, you're going to have to be able to figure out what you need as far as like battery on all the time, and then your accessory. So when your accessory switch is turned on in the vehicle to basically turn this on. It's pretty easy to do. You're basically just kind of like, you can look in your manual in your vehicle and you'll see where your fuse panels are, where they're located, and you can use what fuses are necessary to have always on and be able to connect that. Your ground wire, you just need to find where a good ground lead is, and then so that is your wire, and there is plenty to basically get that taken care of. This is your intelligent power box, which is here. This is going to be your radar detection piece. So you want to mount that obviously in the front, as high up in the vehicle as you can. Make sure it doesn't have any interference. Like if you see all those little dots that go around your windshield, that's actually to spread out the heat on your windshield, and that can actually block some of the radar signal coming into your vehicle. But you can mount this a little bit lower down than that, and then you have this little mounting sticker that you can mount right on your windshield. So not too bad. So this is the camera system itself. Let me get this bag out of the way here. Okay, so inside we got a bunch of things. So you get a couple of, looks like kind of like screensaver protectors. So that is going to be your manual. And then this is going to be your camera system. Get this out of the bag. Okay, so you have the forward-facing camera. You have your monitor here, and then you have your 360 cameras here. So you can basically mount them in any direction that you want to kind of get a really good 360 view all the way around the vehicle. This will cover your front, so it's kind of a wide angle, and then these little cameras on the back, you can position them to anywhere in your vehicle that you want to see in any direction. You can even have them more facing forward if you wanted to as well. That also is another option if you really want to get like a panoramic view of the front of the vehicle. But again, that's entirely up to your preference and your vehicle type. Some vehicles might be limited on that. So here's some more power cords and connections. Put that up here out of view. So here is some cable routing helper thingies. There's a sticker mount to your windshield, so you can mount this camera system. So I'll give you kind of an idea. That goes in like that. Then the direction kind of mounts that way. And then get this package. So this is your rear camera, and it does come with a sticker as well, adhesive. So you can basically apply that to the back there. And you can mount that like in the back window, back area, so you can get view right outside your back window. And it does come with a large amount of cord that comes with that as well. and then you have your internal power supply that you can use as an alternative to power this. If you didn't want to have the camera on all the time, you do have the option to basically just mount that, so when your vehicle turns on, it will run off your cigarette fuse. And also, if you have a vehicle that always has a power adapter that's always on, this is your alternative way of mounting that as well. So that's basically everything. So that is a pretty good complete system with all types of different power accessories. You do have your card slot here, and it comes pre-equipped with a Lexar 128 gigabyte memory card already installed, which is great because you can put this camera like on a loop, and you can record high quality camera views the entire time through your vehicle. Oh, this rear camera plugs up into this port right here on that side. And then again, that was your power supply that plugs in there. And again, you can plug that right into your cigarette adapter if you have power on all the time. If you're looking to make sure that your camera is on, you would make sure that you would use this type of fuse connection to hook up to your vehicle. But no, let's go outside. We'll take a look at the vehicle we're mounting this in, and we'll be able to go from there. So stay tuned. Okay, so we're outside, and this is our Hummer H2, and it did not come with any type of camera system in it. So we are going to be hooking up the camera in here. So it does have some sort of like optical sensors to kind of like for like rain and all that other stuff. But since this is a 2004, it didn't come with a camera system. So this is going to be like absolutely perfect for this. So a couple things I have out already is I have a multimeter. If you don't have a multimeter, you can pick one up, and this will help you on the constant power on scenario with the camera system. But again, it's not necessary to have, but a multimeter, if you're going to be hooking it up permanently to the AC, the auto on, the AC system first turn, this is what you are looking for that cable, for that installation. If you do not have a constant on, you are going to be using this power adapter with the USB-C to connect the camera and to add power to the whole system. So we're going to keep this close by, because on this 2004 Hummer H2, the problem I have is I do not have the ability to hook this type of system up, but I'm going to run you through on how to do that. And so let's go. So if you're wondering, I do have AC hooked up. I am recharging a battery just because this system on the Hummer, I end up having this sit for so long at times, the battery ends up dying. So for this install, we are going to be working on with the battery charging the whole time. So anyway, on this side of the vehicle, what we're going to be doing is you want to run your cabling system through the firewall, or basically you have a couple different connections. So we are going to run the wire basically through this molding, and then we're going to cut across here, so you can kind of push a lot of this out of the way, and then you have an area where you can kind of run wire over and down to this. So on your vehicle, you can pull this out, and you can see some wire from a previous install that you're basically just kind of like running the wire right through that whole system. So it's basically kind of like out of the way, and it's hidden. So that works out pretty good. But you're going to follow this down, and if you're going to run this trim all the way down here, you have an area that you can run the wire through this boot, and then that will run into the firewall. Or if you look on the side, you do have some cutaways that you can fish the wire through on your vehicle, depending on how it is. So we've got a couple different options here. And then going into the engine compartment, so again, just look for pockets. You might have some different pockets here, coming up through the firewall, coming down through here, through the trim of the door. I mean, there's different areas that you can pull this wire through. So you're going to have it like this. Let's get this untied. So again, depending on where you're pulling your wire through, you know, there's different parts of the body you can look through and you can fish them through. So on most vehicles, you do have a electrical box here. This is our fuse box, and it looks like there are a bunch of openings, a bunch of areas that I can put fuses, but these are all basically dead circuits. So this fuse box is actually completely filled, but what you're going to be doing, depending again on your vehicle, you want to take your multimeter and you want to set it for 20 volts DC, and with your vehicle off, you want to set that so you can see it. And what you're going to be doing is you are going to be setting this onto your battery terminal, and then you're going to be putting it onto your different switches, and you're going to be looking for voltage. So like, for example, you're going to be pushing it to this terminal. Okay, so what you're doing is putting onto the negative side of your battery. Multimeter is on 20 volts, and you're going to be holding it into any of these like kind of like open cavities here, and anywhere where you think you can probably put a fuse. So obviously everything I am touching doesn't have the ability to be expanded, but you can go through and see like that fuse is active, so that has voltage running through it. So any type of these you can tell. So what you're doing is you're kind of like the same thing. You're kind of like sticking it into each of these open ports, and you want to look to see if they have any metal terminals, and none of these do. So that's why I'm kind of stuck on, I'd love to be able to hook it up to one of these accessory points, which I don't have. I don't have that ability on this vehicle. But again, that's how you'd be testing to see if you have voltage already on, moving through these circuits, and to find out if you have something that basically has voltage fed to it like the whole time. And again, it is really easy to do. So if we were going through looking at each one of these terminals, you can kind of find stuff that is constantly on that you can put a switch on, or do something to. But again, none of these are active. So back to the regular install. So if you want the constant on for constant vehicle monitoring, you need to find a power port on your vehicle that basically stays on the whole time that the vehicle is basically just kind of like not in the ignition. So this power plug right here is on all the time. So we can run power from this one up to where we're going to mount the camera. So that's a pretty easy check to do. Just check your power ports, see if they are constantly on. And a lot of them usually are. So that gives you the ability to be able to run this. Just keep in mind, it is going to be running off of 12 volts. So it will drain your battery at some point. So make sure that it's like a vehicle you're not going to leave unattended for a long time, because that will eventually kill your battery. And obviously you don't want to be able to do that. So with this vehicle, it comes with plenty of cord. So we can basically kind of mount this underneath the dash. And then again, we have the constant on situation. So we are just going to leave that here as a power accessory. And then you can basically run this down underneath every little nook and cranny, and then you can kind of like fish it down through here. So let's just get our wire kind of running, and then you can just run it along the carpet line down here on the side, and then we're going to run it all the way up and around so that camera can be mounted there. So it gives you a couple different scenarios. You can run it as well over like on something like on this side. And then we're going to change that around, and you can run it down through here. up along the dash, and you can kind of like hide it down on that side. And what we are looking for is we want to come out through the top here, and then you can run this wire along the dash and then have that run up kind of like the middle, or you can have it run down through the top like that. So I mean, there's a couple of different options that you can do on this install. So I think we are just going to run that across, and we're just going to leave this wire here, be able to bury that up there. So we'll just leave a little bit of wire down, and then we can kind of gently run this through the top up here. Alright, so see how you can kind of bury this in, and we'll take this handle piece out a little bit. Alright, we'll just leave that kind of loose up there in case we need some more slack. And then we'll just mount that, kind of come down. Okay, so next part we are looking for, make sure you have some alcohol and a paper towel, so we're going to clean that off really well. So this is going to be your camera system. It's going to be mounted this way. And then we have the different mounts that we can use. So just kind of give you an idea. So we can set this up like this. Then we can stick it up on the window. And that is like some 3M adhesive there. So kind of give you an idea how that's going to sit. So you can put that a little bit to the left of our rear view mirror. Or we can mount it up higher, but we're not going to have a good camera angle on any of that stuff. So this is what we're going to be looking for. Put that right there, and then it's going to be able to have a good angle outside each side window when we mount that. So that is what we're going to be looking for, and then that can easily come off and pull down. Then we put that locked in, and then that's how you can get the camera loose each time. So let's get that kind of situated. Then this can lock that into place. And again, just one more time, just kind of like have that hanging down from there. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking for. We're going to take some alcohol, just give that area a quick spray so it's nice and clean. We're going to wipe it down. Okay. And then what we're going to do is, again, loosely kind of have this set up. And we're going to peel this tape back. All right, we're going to peel that tape back. Again, I think we're going to mount it kind of like right here. So that's going to work really well. And we got the two side cameras right there. And let's get the power to that. Okay, and this is going to be our power. And we're going to have that kind of set back like this. Okay, so when we're driving, we'll have a pretty good view of that, and you can angle that however you need to get the best angle. Okay, so that's probably pretty good right there, not too distracting. And then our power cord, again, we're going to mount this up here. And then it has these little wire hooks, so you can help snap that wire into place. So we're going to be looking for an area kind of out of the way here. We're going to mount something right up here in the corner. It's kind of hard to see. We're going to pull this little adhesive off. And mount it right up there. And then that wire is basically kind of hidden out of the way. Now we can put this wire all up in this trim. Okay, so that's how that sits. Now you have a rear camera as well. So we're basically going to kind of do the same thing. And this is going to mount all the way from the front to the back. And I'll kind of show you how to do that. And it's basically going to be the same way, except the trim. What we're going to do is we're going to unplug the camera. So we'll bring that to the back, and then we're going to run this all the way to the back of the vehicle. And this gets hooked up on the top here. That plugs right into the top there. And then same thing, we'll hook this back in and slide this across. Then this wire goes up, and then we'll put it in that same little hook to kind of hold the wire. And then we'll mount this up and out of the way with all the other wire.
Alright, so and mounting this all the way through the back. And sometimes it hides pretty good. Sometimes you got to push it a little bit more to make it work. You can tell this is a pretty big vehicle. And we have all this wire to get back here, no problem. Okay, that's probably about as far back as we can go. Then it's going to be the back camera. So it's going to mount this way. So kind of have it mount like this to the back. So that's going to be your top. So we got this adhesive. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to mount that right in the middle. You don't want to put it on these wires that defrost. So we're going to peel this first. We're going to just carefully mount this on here. Okay, and then same thing. Quick squirt of alcohol. Clean that back area window. Then we're going to peel this off. Okay. And then we are going to aim this camera as best as we can. So that's going to be about the middle right there. And just kind of look on the sides. And we're going to mount that like that. And then we can angle however we like. And then this is going to be our wire, our connection to that rear camera. Like I said, you can mount some of this extra wire up in here or pull it through. And what we're going to do is we're going to feed that into this. It seems like there's a little bit of a cavity up here that we can mount that wire into. And then the connection we kind of want to have hang out a little bit in case there's any problems or issues. It's not buried out of the way. But yeah, so that's how we're going to mount that. So again, let's close that down. Okay, so this is a Wi-Fi antenna. So it has the on and off mode. And you are going to be, you can see where it's going to go, the USB-C in. And then this goes out into the transmitter. Again, you can mount this wherever you want. We're going to forego that today. And we are basically going to peel these camera lenses off. These protectants. And then we are going to peel this sticker off the screen. And so basically it says, please format the memory card before using it the first time. Please tear the surface protective film off. Please use 8G 260 gig TF card. Basically what was inside that. And on the 1st and 15th, the machine will remind you to format the memory card. So anyway, okay, so let's turn the ignition on. So I think I'll turn my light off for this part, so you can kind of see that screen. Alright, so I just want to make sure I have a good view. So it's kind of telling you, so it's going to kind of show you every view from the camera here. So you can turn and adjust them to where you need. It's kind of like lock this into place a little bit better here. Okay, so that is that. It does have a lock knuckle on this, which I did not tighten down because I wasn't sure where we were going to mount this fully. So let's pull that over completely. So, and then you have your rear view camera. You got both of those. And I forgot to remove the protectant from the front camera. Let me do that now. Alright, so that's back and mounted. Alright, so you got a couple. So you can go to settings. And then you got your toggle switch on top and bottom, then your selection at the bottom. So we'll go to settings. So, and then you have your menu to go through here. And I know I am far away from this, but we're going to format the card. So we're going to move down. So it's that selection right there. Format card. So it's formatting in process. Initializing card. Okay, that was kind of like locked in. Oh, so that's basically done. So let's go to set your clock, cord log, you can set up your Wi-Fi. So let's just go to parking camera, hit select. Okay, just make our selection there. And go back. Put your thumb on that side, and then same thing, you can help scroll through. That's going to be our dash cam. And then you can set these. So you got your left, your right, you got your forward, and then you go from there. And then it will automatically start recording when it sends motion or anything else. But yeah, what a neat little camera system, kind of like out of your way, so you can see all that. Full of features. Definitely read through the manual and definitely play around with this. You can do a bunch of different things with it. I just kind of like scrolled through it quickly, and I know I can't get the camera up close enough with this, but I'm going to switch over to my other visual camera and try to see if I can't get some better functionality for you. All right, just because of the angle of this is going to be hard to kind of get in here, but that is the camera view. Obviously I have my hood open, but that'll give you a good idea. So you got the left corner is going to be your front facing camera. The right hand side is going to be your rear facing camera, which is really cool. I like that feature. And then you have your left and then you have your right views on that. And then it'll time date and stamp everything for you. So that's really cool. Actually, I think it is set up for the right time of day. So that's pretty cool. So you can angle these cameras on the side however you need to angle them to get a different view. But this will give you kind of like a 360 all the way around. And then, like I said, you hit this button here on the side, and that'll turn it off. You turn it on, and then if you hit this button right here. That'll bring you into your menu, and you can go into like your settings, and then you just have all that stuff. And then if you want to get back out, you hit this button here on the side, and then you can scroll over with even one of these buttons here. I sound out of breath because I'm like stretching to get this because the dash is so far away. And then you hit just your selection to get back to your main screen. But again, you have all your different functionalities in there as well. So it does a lot. And anyway, safe driving out there. And like I said, give you an idea of how that looks. So it's not too distracting. And it records everything for you. All right, Brian from Garage Mall. Thanks for watching, and be safe out there.